What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, everybody is anticipating this mega showdown, November 25th, Las Vegas, Nevada, as two undefeated world champions are going to face off and square off in undefeated two-time WBC super middleweight world champion, Mexican Ecuadorian superstar boxer, who is considered as the Mexican monster, David Benavidez. David Benavidez, he has a record of 27 wins, no losses, no draws, 23 wins by way of knockout. He is 26 years of age, stands at 6'2" with a 75-inch arm reach. He's going to face off against undefeated two-division world champion, superstar boxer, Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade. Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade is a southpaw, undefeated two-division world champion, looking to become a three-division world champion with a record of 32 wins, no loss, no draw. 19 wins by way of knockout, 35 years of age. He's 6'2", 6 feet tall with a 74-inch arm reach. So David Benavidez is 6'2" with a 75-inch arm reach, right? They're going to square off. Highly anticipated mega showdown, right? And David Benavidez is the overwhelming favorite for this fight, right? Mainly because of the lack of activity, on the part of, Demetrius Andrade, and the fact that David Benavidez has an extremely high work rate. He has power in both hands, fast hands, and he's very, very active, right? Come forward, very aggressive, massive puncher. David Benavidez is not so much of a one-punch knockout artist, but he's just a big puncher, right? It overwhelms you physically, mentally, breaks you down. Just a tough fighter to deal with. And because of the lack of activity on the part of Demetrius Andrade, and it's out of sight, out of mind. Andrade he only had one fight at 168 in his new division. And so, I believe that people are viewing this as a big fight, but I think that Andrade is being overlooked. And I don't believe that Andrade is getting the respect. Now, I know that David Benavidez and his father, trainer, and manager, Jose Benavidez Sr., and his team, they're taking Demetrius Andrade extremely serious. I have no doubt about that. But, the mass public, from what I see and what I hear, they're overlooking Demetrius Andrade. And I truly believe that this is an upset in the making. The reason it's going to be an upset is because Demetrius Andrade is being overlooked. Demetrius Andrade has all the qualities to be a nightmare matchup for David Benavidez. He's actually is a nightmare matchup for David Benavidez, right? And I'm going to be the first one to tell you, I heard Gilly the Kid, right? I heard Gilly the Kid say that anybody picking, now obviously Gilly the Kid is a entertainer, a musician, so Gilly the Kid is not a boxing pundit or a boxing analyst, but he knows sports. And he was on Instagram Live with Eric Kelly, amateur, standout, especially a legend in New York. Eric Kelly is, he's a boxing standout, in the amateurs, but he suffered an eye injury and his career was cut short. Nonetheless, he was on live with Gilly the Kid, and Gilly said, "You don't know nothing about boxing. You had the audacity to say that you picking Demetrius Andrade to beat David Benavidez." And when he said that, I was like, wow, the mass majority of the sport of boxing is drastically overlooking Demetrius Andrade. And most people are right now, because of what's at stake and because of everybody wants to see David Benavidez face off against 4-division world champion, Mexican superstar boxer who is widely considered to be the face of the sport of boxing, top 5 pound for pound best fighters in the world, and is the undisputed super middleweight world champion in Saul Canelo Alvarez, who has a record of 60 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 big wins by way of knockout. He is 33 years of age, 5'8" with a 70-inch arm reach. And everybody wants to see the Mexican monster face off against the Mexican legend, especially Cinco de Mayo weekend. And I understand the excitement, how big of a fight Canelo versus, David Benavidez would be, how big of an event that would be. But the fact remains, as I told you guys, I was completely shocked and taken back that David Benavidez, with that fight looming, is even taking this fight. You have to give David Benavidez so much credit for taking this fight. Because again, like I said, this is not a high risk. This is a major risk. Many people say this is a high risk. This is not a high risk. This is a major risk. Not a high risk. Again, let me say it. Not a high risk, a major risk. And David Benavidez stepped up to the plate when he didn't have to. There's plenty of opportunities and other fighters that David Benavidez could have fought that would have been justified in him fighting. Plenty of other fighters he could have fought and it would have been justified because he's the mandatory for Canelo Alvarez. But he's taking a fight with Demetrius Boo-Boo Andrade. And I'm here to tell you guys, Demetrius Andrade just might shock the world. And it's not going to be a shock to me. It won't be a shock to people like Eric Kelly, hardcore boxing fans. But the lack of popularity, the lack of notoriety, and the inactivity of Demetrius Andrade has garnered people to overlook him and his talent and his skill set. And I'm hearing people say David Benavidez is going to wash him, is going to stop him, is going to knock him out. Now, maybe that lack of activity, right? And he's a timing fighter. That might play a major part with his stamina. David Benavidez just keeps coming. But when you watch David Benavidez and face off against Caleb Plant in his last fight, Caleb Plant has a lot of similarities to Andrade, but he don't. Because Demetrius Andrade has all of Caleb Plant's strengths, but none of his weaknesses. And that's what people are not taking into consideration. When you watch this fight with David Benavidez and Caleb Plant, who's about 6 feet tall with a 73-inch arm reach, who's a slick boxer, but he's orthodox. Demetrius Andrade is a southpaw. Demetrius Andrade has 2 times the power Caleb Plant has. And he don't have stamina issues. Demetrius Andrade, he loses concentration because he gets bored in the fights that he's in because he's not in super fights. So he, at times, will lack concentration or just go through the motions. But he's not, his stamina and his conditioning is top notch. And his accuracy and his slickness is better than Caleb Plant's. And his athletic ability is just as good, or if not better than Caleb Plant's. And when you watch Caleb Plant and David Benavidez, Caleb Plant was drastically outboxing David Benavidez in the first half of the fight. David Benavidez could not, and I say it again, he absolutely could not find Caleb Plant. But Caleb Plant fatigued, the pressure, the mental pressure, the physical pressure, and the hand speed of David Benavidez started to get to him. But it started to get to a guy who is known to fatigue. When you watch Caleb Plant and Canelo Alvarez, same outcome. He was outboxing Canelo in the first half, started to fatigue. Canelo kept caught up to him. Canelo knocked him out in the 11th round. When you watch his fight with Jose Uzcategui, that was the biggest win in his career for the title, the IBF title. and in the first half of the fight, dropped Jose Uzcategui, I believe, twice, was outboxing him beautifully. In the second half, Jose Uzcategui made it a close fight. Why? Because Caleb Plant started to fatigue. He started to get tired. So this is nothing new. Even when you watch Caleb Plant's fight with, I believe it was, slipping my name. I want to say Terrell Boucher. I believe it was Terrell Boucher. You know, Caleb Plant had that fight, and he didn't look spectacular in that fight. No, it was Caleb Truitt. When he fought Caleb Truitt, not Terrell Boucher. When he fought Caleb Truitt, he showed stamina issues in that fight. Now, he had a long layoff, and he had the long layoff with Jose Uzcategui as well. But he's historically have known to fatigue in the second half of fights. It's not the case with Demetrius Andrade, and he keeps his power, and he's accurate with that power. And he's a southpaw that's slick, and he's hard to hit, and he uses angles. This is going to be a terrible nightmare matchup for David Benavidez. Now, again, if David Benavidez can overwhelm him with his pressure, moving forward, again, another fight. If you look at David Benavidez and Anthony Dirrell, Anthony Dirrell, once again, was outboxing David Benavidez, clipping him. But David Benavidez, to his credit and to his defense, he wears you down. He breaks you down. It's not like Caleb Plant, in the case of Caleb Plant, we know he historically has these issues with stamina, but he breaks you down as well. And he cut Anthony Dirrell, and Anthony Dirrell couldn't continue. Bad cut. But again, he was getting outboxed. You look at Demetrius Andrade, he has the ability to do that for 12 rounds. So now, Demetrius Andrade also changes levels better than Anthony Dirrell and Caleb Plant, right? He goes to the body way more aggressively, way more accurately, and way more effectively. That's going to take some steam off of David Benavidez's punches. That's going to start to wear him down. And I believe that Demetrius Andrade is going to shock the world. And I got to tip my hat to David Benavidez. I got to tip my hat to Jose Benavidez Sr. for taking this fight. For even taking this fight. It's a style matchup nightmare that Canelo don't want to take. Most fighters don't want to take because he's very awkward. He's slick. He's a southpaw. He's awkward. He has power. He's in the mindset and cut from a similar cloth like Terrence Crawford. And we saw what happened with Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, and Errol Spence worked great, and Errol Spence is pressure. Errol Spence is a pressure fighter who has power, and we saw how that played out. Don't be surprised. So let's see how this unfolds November 25th. But again, kudos to both fighters, and even more kudos to David Benavidez and Jose Benavidez Sr. for taking this fight. This is not a risky fight. This is a major risk. This is not high risk, low reward. This is a major risk. Major risk. And they willing to take it. This just goes to show the greatness, the mindset of David Benavidez, and carving out his own niche in the sport, not waiting for Canelo Alvarez, fighting the biggest fights. This is a dangerous fight. David Benavidez has a lot more to lose than Demetrius Andrade. Andrade is expected to lose, although he's undefeated. He's 35. He hasn't had that marquee fight. So it's like out of sight, out of mind. With David Benavidez, the expectations and, the big fights that people are already placing him in the future, in these fantasy matchups, those are at risk, man. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. Don't be surprised that this fight looks like Demetrius Bivol versus Zurdo Remirez. But unlike Zurdo Remirez, David Benavidez will win of maybe 3 rounds or 4 rounds. Zurdo didn't win a round against Demetrius Bivol. David Benavidez is going to be way more effective and have way more success. But that type of fight, don't be surprised to see it. And that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. That's all I got for y'all. I'm gone. Peace.